Welcome, bienvenue, bienvenido. It's a pleasure to have you here. Join me on this journey of self-discovery, revelations, and co-creation. Welcome to the Heal In, giving you life's cheat codes towards better paths and roads. And I'm your host, Serena. Hello, welcome to Serena's Heal In, and I'm your host, Serena. On this channel, we address topics on personal development, self-healing, and growth. Join me. I invite you into my Heal In, where I share knowledge, lessons, stories, comfort, and love. Okay, so today I want to speak on a topic that is actually dear to me, and that's imposter syndrome. The National Library of Medicine defines imposter syndrome as, and I quote, a behavioral health phenomenon described as self-doubt of intellect, skills, or accomplishments among high-achieving individuals. These individuals cannot internalize their success and subsequently experience pervasive feelings of self-doubt, anxiety, depression, and or apprehension of being exposed as a fraud in their work, despite verifiable and objective evidence of their successfulness, end quote. So this phenomenon was first defined by two doctors of philosophy, Suzanne Imes and Pauline Rose Chance, in reference to successful women and marginalized groups. So Dr. Clance identifies 6 criteria that can be observed in people with imposter syndrome. These criteria have evolved over time and are now summarized as a set of interconnected traits, such as, so there are 6 of them. What I'm going to do is list them out, give you a little definition of what these traits actually mean or represent. So there is the imposter cycle. So the imposter syndrome is characterized by the imposter cycle. The cycle involves 2 main responses, which is over preparation, where we believe that we must exert more effort than anyone else to achieve the same goal, which can lead in terms to feeling of being an imposter, and procrastination, which is actually the second main response, because we delay tasks until the last minute, fearing being exposed as a fraud. So I want to take my experience with YouTube as an example where that is concerned. So I used to do YouTube. Well, I was already on the platform before as Sassline. And I spoke about, well-being, self-development, and spirituality. I stopped several times because sometimes I just felt like, who am I to be speaking about these topics when I felt like my life was a hot mess and I was not role model worthy. And I lived on a very small island. So it's like everybody knows you, everybody sees what you're experiencing, and everybody sees you grow. So, of course, if they're also seeing you grow, it means that they're also seeing your mistakes. So I think that people that come from like small towns, small islands like myself, or villages, could understand what I mean by that. And it's like when you're growing up and you are really, first of all, trying to figure out who you are as a person and just being young and dumb, it's like, I don't know, personally, there was just something in trying to step out of who I am, or who I think I am, or who people say I should be, and trying to step into who I would like to be, who I feel that I am destined to be. speaking on that and just feeling like a fraud. Like, who are you to be speaking on these topics, you know? Yeah. So like, even like when I think about YouTube now and how long I've been wanting to get back on this platform, and I had so many videos, so many content just sitting on my phone because I don't know, I just felt like I was not there yet. I felt like I needed to be perfect before I got back on this platform. Yeah. I felt like my video editing skills needed to be the best, that my equipment needed to be the best, that my situation in life had to be the best. I remember always bargaining with God, like, okay, God, I will do what I have to do. I will do this. I know you placed it in my heart. If it's in my heart, it's because this is my purpose. This is something that I need to do. But I'll do it as soon as I move out of this house. But I'll do it as soon as I get out of this situation. But I'll do it as soon as I'm out of this job. Okay, I'll do it now when I get a job. So it's like there was always a reason why I couldn't do it, and a reason why I needed to delay starting that task, because everything needed to be perfect. And guess what? Nothing was ever perfect. And I never ever started. And even right now I'm starting, but it's not, it's not necessarily the ideal situation. It's just that I'm telling myself it's now or never. Just do it. Which leads to the next trait, perfectionism. So, perfectionism and imposter syndrome involves a continuum of hyper-competitive and perfectionist behavior, stemming from self-imposed, practically unattainable standards and goals. All this to say, just setting really high standards for yourself that aren't impossible, but are not, even saying unattainable feels a little, but unreasonable. There you go. Unreasonable. So this looks like I always wanted to be the best. Like, I always wanted to be the best, working way too hard and feeling bad about yourself when you make mistakes, because we see that as a lack of ability on our part, and then we just become very overly self-critical. So this trait can also make us think, that we need to be like superheroes and always doing everything perfectly. And quite frankly, if we think about it, even superheroes are not perfect. I mean, they have powers, they have all of that, but they still go through, well, at least when we watch movies, like they still go through things. But yeah, like with perfectionism, you actually do think that you have to be a superhero. You need to be that go-to person. You need to be that, that symbol of perfectionism. Like, how else can I say this? Everything just has to be perfect. You need to be irreproachable. Like, even for instance, when thinking of work and coming back and thinking of work, when you're a perfectionist, especially professionally, any little criticism of your work can make you feel like you have to do more to show that, you are worthy of the position that you were given, that you deserve to be where you are at. But it's a vicious cycle, because if you're dealing with a manager or a boss that has any hint of, I don't want to use that term because I feel like we're just throwing it around, but it's true. If you're dealing with a manager or a boss that has just a hint of a narcissistic traits, or just, even if it's not even that far, just someone that is very opportunistic, if they realize that need in you to seek validation, and be seen as perfect and be considered as that hero, they're gonna make use of it. I mean, it's I almost want to say it's human, but a lot of people are I just used the word, what am I looking for? What am I trying to say? A lot of people are opportunistic, a lot of people will make use of whatever's going to enable them to, have an easier, better life. So even if not as far as your manager, it could also be like a colleague. If you have a colleague that feels like you want to be the hero, you're always here to help, you always want to show that you're very helpful and things. So, well, guess what? They're going to call on you for even simple tasks that they put little to no effort in trying to resolve on their own, because why put in that extra brain power, use up that extra gray matter, when they can simply call on you and you will just take over the time? Like, I don't know if you guys do that, but I have a really bad habit. If someone asks me for help, sometimes I would just take over and just do it. I need to work on that, because I don't have the time to be anybody's hero. I'm trying to save myself. Anyways, all right, so this leads to the third point: superheroism. So superheroism is closely linked to wanting to be the best, and shows up as potentially doing too much to show we can handle tasks well, i.e. the example I just gave a while ago. The main part of this is over preparation. So we spoke about this in the previous points also, caused by setting unreasonable standards, there we go, which can impact our mental health. So that is true, because it's like the fact that you're out here trying to be a superhero, really neglecting you finish by neglecting yourself, because you want to be of service to everyone. So you are here spreading yourself thin, because you want to show that you can do this and that and this and that and this. It's like you want to do so much, and you really feel like you can do so much, but at the end of the day, like we really are limited. We only have 24 hours. We only have ourselves. And when you think about the fact that your job already takes like 8 hours of your day, if not 9 hours of your day, and then there's the commute from your job to your home if you're not working, remote. Sorry, I had a mosquito. If you're not working remote, that doesn't leave much time for you to do what you got to do for yourself. So it could become very overwhelming very quickly when so many people are reliant and dependent on you for help, because you've always positioned yourself as that go-to person, whether willingly or just consequently. But so really being able to take your power back and really being that hero for yourself is really going to be something important for your mental health, because especially when you hit that wall, or you hit that moment when you realize that people are not going to go in as hard for you as you go for them, and you get to that part where you're actually the one who needs saving and nobody is there, and you need to be able to save yourself, but you've used up so much energy, so much strength trying to save everybody else. It's when it hits you, it's going to hit you hard. And if you're already burnt out finding the energy to pick yourself up from that situation can take more time than you would expect, more time than you would want. But yeah. All right. So the next point is the fear of failure. So, fear of failure shows up when people with imposter syndrome have to do tasks that others have set for them or that they've set for themselves. In other words, it's that feeling of anxiety and worry at the thought of being embarrassed or humiliated if we fail or if we don't do as well as someone else. It's that crippling idea that people are going to find out that we're not as good as we portray ourselves to be. Again, that feeling of being a fraud. So even like, for instance, coming back to YouTube, I think, especially when you're trying to put yourself out there, in anything that you do, you're putting yourself out there. There is really that feeling of anxiety, because once you put yourself out there, you're putting yourself on display, which means you're potentially opening yourself up for the one thing that we do not take very well, allegedly, criticism. So it's even more poignant. I'm not sure I'm saying that right, but even more relevant when it's even more relevant when you're doing something that is completely new to you, or something that requires you to be vulnerable and really, I think it goes hand in hand. If you're doing something that is new, that you're not, fully competent at, because it's new, you're going to make mistakes. You're not going to portray, or you're not going to coincide with that image or that feeling of perfection that you cherish so much, and yeah. that's what really makes it hard, because if you're so good, why aren't you getting the results that you should be getting, and you just feel like you're giving people motive and you're giving people ammunition to gossip about you, to talk about you, to laugh at you, but you really need to get to a point where you just don't care. Because let me tell you, whether you do or whether you don't, they're still going to talk about you. If people want to talk about you, they're going to talk about you. Like, I've tried to be low-key, they still talk about me. Like, I really try to just be invisible. If you have a light in you, people will notice your light. It doesn't matter what you try to do. No matter how much you try to dim yourself down, I don't know if you've noticed, you still get noticed. Because you are that light. Like, when there's something about you, people notice, and they can also see that you're not even tapped into your full potential there. And that's what makes it scary. Like, wait, hold on, this is the dimmed version of you? Wait, so there's levels to this? You see what I'm saying? And yeah, so as much as you try to dim your light, or try to act like you don't want the things that you want simply because you're afraid that you might not be able to get the things that you want or accomplish the things that you want, it doesn't serve you. It does not serve you. So now leading to the fifth point, denial of competence and capability. They should have just called this one Playing It Small. So this one is linked. I think, quite frankly, all of them are linked to perfectionism. I think perfectionism is the core issue in imposter syndrome. If we think of all the previous points, the one that we're able to address now, I really think that perfectionism is at the heart, at the corazón of all our problems. But hey, I digress. Let's continue. So, linked closely to perfectionism, people with imposter syndrome often downplay their intelligence, experience, skills, and natural talents. They tend to blame themselves for failures and think that success is because of luck or outside help, even when they achieve something on their own. Before I continue, how many times, I want you to take a moment to ask yourself, how many times have you given credit to someone else for something you know good and well that you did on your own? It's like, here's a scenario. It's like you're about to shoot a video and you came up with the script, location, costume, you did your makeup, you did everything. The only thing the other person did was probably, show up, be there as a support, which is great because we need that. Or the most that the person did was, I don't know, hold your mic because the wind kept, kicking down your mic stand or whatever. But all that to say, the person played a very minor role in a very big situation, and you gave that person so much credit, so much grace, which is amazing. Because having been on the other side where you do a little more and you do not receive any form of gratitude, I don't know about you, but I feel like I tend to overcompensate and and show way more gratitude than needed for things that sometimes are just the bare minimum. But anyways, I really want you to ask yourself, how many times have you given someone else the credit for work that you know you accomplish because of your hard work? How many times have you shunned off or downplayed the amount of work that you put in, the amount of effort that you put in, the heart of what you've done, and just put it on the back of luck? I want you to think of that. And I want you to pay attention now to situations where you do that. After you've taken a pen and paper and you've written down moments where you've seen yourself do that, I now want you to pay attention in your day-to-day life to situations where you are still doing that. And I want you to work towards not doing that anymore. So I found myself doing this quite recently, actually. Someone asked me about my last work experience and in a management position. And he was like, oh, you must have been pretty good if you were able to get that position. And I downplayed myself so much. I was like, honestly, I don't even know why they gave me that position, because there were other people that were there much longer than I was, that were way more competent than me, and I don't understand. Like, I honestly downplayed myself and in short made it seem like I didn't know why they gave me that position either. Like, in retrospect, I completely disregarded the times I willingly did overtime to get a task done, my ability to learn and assess things quickly, and assess my responsibilities quickly, and everything else that goes with a role of management and responsibility. Like, I completely shunned all the effort that I put in to get that position that honestly wasn't given to me very intentionally. Like, anyways, let's not even go there. But yeah, quite frankly, let's go there. So initially I wasn't given the position with a title. I was given the position, but like as a support, which is fine actually, because it really gave me more time to really grasp the position better and really understand everything, and step by step. And then when I really got I managed that trial period. Now I got the position with the title, because technically I already had the position. I was already doing everything. But anyways, I digress. When I got the title and I got, the pay that goes with it and everything else, I realized I wasn't happy. And most importantly, I was fighting to eat at a table where I was not wanted. And it got to the point where I was like, why am I doing this? I always noticed, but like it really started to get more apparent, like all the sneaky things that were being done to try to push me to quit. So I did, because it just wasn't worth it to me anymore. And quite frankly, my goal was to become a team lead, and I accomplished that goal. But why continue? Why fight so hard to have a position in a company where you feel like you're not wanted? You know you could do the work. They know you could do the work. You've proven countless times that you could do the work. But anyways, so although I succeeded at my goal, part of me still counted it as a failure. And if I'm being completely honest, I think that I subconsciously also answered that question like that, because I felt like, especially based on like the experience I've had up until now, that if I highlighted my accomplishments, I didn't want to highlight my accomplishments because I didn't want to relive that experience. Because if I tell you what I can do, you might just see me as a threat, and I might have to repeat the cycle again. Because let's be real, a lot of the things that we go through is also because while we're here downplaying ourselves and feeling like we're not good enough and all that good stuff, feeling insecure and all that shabba blah blah blah. What am I saying? And all that shiznits. Other people are here seeing our potential and see us as a threat. And ironically enough, the next criteria that can be observed in people with imposter syndrome is the fear of success. So this describes how people with imposter syndrome keep thinking about their failures in a way that makes them feel worse and worse. They find it hard to see or accept their successes because they worry it will mean even more pressure or work. We've said it all previously. Like, if people know how good you are, you just feel like, okay. It's even like at a job, like they always tell you, never show that you're too good at your job, because then you're gonna be required or asked to do more, or you'll be seen as a threat, and then there's competition, then all that comes with it. And yeah, or sometimes, even for YouTube, you don't want to come on YouTube because you fear you might not succeed at it. You might not get any followers. You might not get any views. But then, oh shiznits, what happens when you actually do get all the followers that you want and you actually do get all the views that you want? Now there's this fear of success, because it's like, okay, now there's more eyes on you. There's more chances of being criticized, of being dissected, more chances of people seeing that you're not that perfect, or highlighting the fact that you're not that perfect, or it's tiresome, guys. It's tiresome. Anyways. So these are the 6 traits that can be found. And now I'm looking down at my notes. There's also recent studies that have been done by Dr. Valerie Young that highlights 5 types of imposter syndrome. So there's the perfectionist, the expert, the natural genius, the soloist, and the super person. So I don't want to make this video too long, so I'm not going to get into defining what each of these 5 types are. If you're interested, I could make another video about it, but we're going to continue. But I just wanted to, bring this up. So let me repeat that for you. There's the perfectionist, the expert, the natural genius, the soloist, and the super person. Quite frankly, it's really similar to the traits that we just saw. Yeah. So now, question. What are the 2 significant problems that imposter syndrome can cause? Well, first part, there's underachievement, because as we've mentioned before, because you're seeking this unreasonable or sometimes impossible notion of perfection, you end up not doing anything at all. You end up being stuck because you prepare because you feel like you're never prepared enough, you never know enough, you're not ready enough, and in terms you honestly don't do anything, or you have this fear of success, so then you do not want to do too much so that you don't ruffle feathers, you don't get the wrong type of attention, you don't, things like that. All the previous points that we've mentioned previously. And the second significant problem that imposter syndrome can cause in our life is mental health issues. So, in terms of mental health issues, what are those that can be caused? What are those that can be caused by imposter syndrome? Well, we have anxiety, of course. So general anxiety, there is social anxiety, phobias. So we spoke about it when we spoke, for instance, of the fear of success and the fear of failure. So, by the way, case you're interested, fear of failure is also called atychiphobia, and the fear of success is called achievemophobia. Just wanted to slide that in there. So phobias, OCD behaviors, PTSD, depression, mood disorders, burnouts, low self-esteem, and personality disorder. So for sure, I can say that these are things that I have experienced, because when you're constantly worried about other people's opinion, and when you're constantly seeking approval of your work, of who you are, just approval from someone other than yourself, that really causes anxiety, because the thing is, when it depends on other people, we need to understand that we're also dealing with humans, and it's like these people have their moods, they have their days, they have their intentions, so their own motives. And when you're too dependent on external validation, like, that could really be a source of anxiety for you. And when you're constantly living with anxiety, that can also lead to depression, because you never feel like you're good enough. Your esteem of yourself, so coming back to self-esteem issues, your esteem of yourself, or your self-value, is going to fluctuate and be dependent on someone else's evaluation or estimation of your value, of your worth. So there's so much that goes into this imposter syndrome, but I feel like, as we said previously, one of the core things that we have to tackle when dealing with imposter syndrome is perfectionism, that need or that desire to be perfect. And I think I should make a video on what is even at the root of perfectionism. How did this need even begin? Where does it come from? So yeah. All right, so for my next point, I want to address, how can we manage now? How can we manage these issues with perfectionism? So, reflecting on one's thought and cognitive processes. Simply journaling. Journaling, really writing down what goes on in your head without judgment, without expectations, just free writing. There's a term, I remember the name of the author. Her name is Virginia Woolf, and she was known for, let me look it up. Whoops, hold on. Let me look it up real quick. Virginia Woolf. So Virginia Woolf, considered as the most important, hold on. Dang, I'm not finding the word, but basically it's when you just, there you go, stream of consciousness. As a stream of consciousness. So it says here, in literary criticism, stream of consciousness is a narrative mode or method that attempts to depict the I can't even pronounce the word. The multitudinous, how do you pronounce this? Oh my god, this is embarrassing. Multitudinous thoughts and feelings which pass through the mind of a narrator. Hold on, we're gonna find another word for multitudinous. The multitudinous. Hold on. Multitudinous. Oh my god. The numerous. Shucks. I don't know why they're giving me such a hard word. I need to up my vocabulary.
Multitudinous.
Multitudinous. Multitudinous. Multitudinous. So, stream of consciousness is a narrative mode or method that attempts to depict the multitudinous thoughts and feelings which pass through the mind of a narrator. Multitudinous just mean many, yeah? Many, several, innombrable. Oh non, c'est en français ça. Anyways, so yeah, the many, could have just said many, but anyway, multitudinous, we learn a new word. Thoughts that goes through a narrator's mind. So same thing, you are the narrator of your life. So if you journal, this would really allow you to see the thoughts that go through your mind and then evaluate them and reassess them, recreate them, purge, do what you got to do. Anyway, so that's the first one. Then there's therapy. Okay. There is therapy. There's also one called CBT, therapy, CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. So yeah, if you're interested in that, I think you could just, look it up on Google, see what that's about. But therapy and all, really finding the type of therapy that works for you is important. Because there's so many different type of therapy that I feel like there's not a one size fit all type of therapy. Finding the right therapy method that works for you, finding the right therapist also, that's not always an easy task, but finding the right therapist is also good. Yeah, so coming back to things that we can do to help us combat our imposter syndrome is also gratitude exercises. So, finding prompts or just journaling things that we are grateful for, the things that we have accomplished. Because there's one thing I've realized is sometimes you may accomplish certain things, and you forgot how badly you wanted that thing. And when you do achieve it, you forgot that this is something that you actually wanted at some point in time. And you begin complaining about the things that once you were praying to have, And I found myself doing that several times. And then I would find papers with all goals written down and be like, oh my God, oh yes, I remember this was actually a goal. I am living this goal right now, and I am spitting in God's face by complaining about something that I wanted. And it also reminds me that there's a saying, it is said that we don't get everything that we want immediately and everything that we wish for, and thank goodness, because oftentimes we think that we want certain things and we really don't, or we think that we want certain things, and when we do get it, we realize that this is not quite what we thought it would be, or this is not all that is cut off to be. And yeah, so anyways, so reflecting on one's own thought and cognitive processes. So coming back to the stream of consciousness that we spoke about with Virginia Woolf as an example. Therapy is the second point. Gratitude exercises the third, and most importantly, as a reminder, trying to really do all of this without judgment or expectations. Just do it to do it. Like, nobody's going to see. These are your private notes. These are your private notes, your private thoughts. So really try to be as honest and vulnerable with yourself as possible. And doing this also allows you to build a better relationship with yourself and get to know yourself better. So, yeah. All right. Okay. So, I have something for you guys. I also wrote something that I want to read for you. You want to be perfect so badly. But why? You want to be perfect so badly. And it's hard for us to understand because from where we stand, you are outstanding. Now, look around. Observe the work of art that we call Earth and all that fills it. What makes you think that any less devotion was put into making you? Everything on earth, in the universe, and beyond has a purpose. Except for mosquitoes. I have yet to understand the reason for their existence. But I digress. So, honey, what makes you believe that your existence is without purpose and isn't guided by a force bigger than you to accomplish things that can only be accomplished by you? Start small, even start badly. But unless you start, you'll accomplish hardly anything. And that type of regret can cost you everything. All right. Thank you for joining me at Serena's Heal In. And I hope you've enjoyed this moment with me as much as I have enjoyed making this video for you. So don't forget to like, subscribe, leave your comments down in the comment section below, and let me know what your thoughts are about this. Let me know if you want to see more videos like this and what topics you would like me to address next. So once again, I am your host, Serena at Serena's Heal In. I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys. Thanks for watching.